All right.
We're
So
recording.
good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our weekly block chat with the City of Buffalo Division of Citizen Services and our partners, Buffalo Board of Block Clubs of Erie County and City of Buffalo. My name is Oswaldo Mestri. I am the Director of Citizen Services and the city's Chief Service Officer. I'll act as your host today. But if you know anything about our block chats, everyone plays that role because we listen and hear from everybody to hear about what's going on in the city of Buffalo. We have been doing our weekly block chats, quite honestly, since the pandemic. And part of us doing our block chats was really to share information and to hear from folks in the community, making sure that it was two-way communication. And from that, what we have learned is that there's a lot of great things that are happening in the city of Buffalo, but there's also a lot of good things that are happening with organizations. And this is just one opportunity that we just like to share, right? And we just like to share things that are happening in City Hall, but things that are happening with community-based organizations or happenings that we can make connections. And so I'm excited about today's speaker. I was chatting with her earlier. I also want to say congratulations. I think last year, or if I'm not mistaken, Buffalo Mayor Byron Brown bestowed an award on her for her outstanding work that she was doing in the community. I'll let her talk a little bit about that. But I'm just really, really excited about the work. Sometimes we do things that are often, unseen, but is making an everlasting impact. And she's going to talk a little bit about that. So the things that are happening here, clean sweeps. We had another great clean sweep. We'll talk a little bit about that. Um, we are going to actually yesterday, we made a big announcement with our Love Your Block initiative. And what is that? Our Love Your Block initiative is a mini grant opportunity for community-based organizations, block clubs, and all of those great organizations to do beautification type of projects in their neighborhoods using these dollars for supplies. In the past, we've awarded up to, since the inception of our Love Your Block grant application, we've awarded 60 organizations within the span of about 3 years. And we've worked very closely with the Board of Block Clubs, working with them as a feeder organization. And you know what? We're back. And we're going to make this announcement. Malika will get an opportunity to share information about that. But very, very excited about that. Excited about folks who have been doing cleanups. The Great American Cleanup is ongoing. I can't say enough to organizations that have stepped up to the plate. What we have done is provide you with tools and bags and said, hey, if you clean it, we'll pick it up. And many of the people have taken advantage of that. And, it's as we do spring cleaning in our house, we're the spring cleaning in our neighborhood. And we're very, very grateful for that opportunity too. Also want to say that this is the week, full week in terms of with city government. The mayor proposed his budget. Um, many department heads went before the common council members to talk about their budget, and it was budget hearings. And so that's an ongoing process. Um, very excited about, and I want to say thank you to the mayor and made a significant investment in 311, looking to upgrade our system, our mobile application, making sure our analytics are great. And that's a significant investment in terms of already building upon the world class opportunity that we have with our call takers. And so I want to say thank you again to the mayor. He's also made some other strategic investments regarding with police and law enforcement and vehicles. And also, and as I said, we've been listening. When I say we've been listening, many people have told us snow and communication was an important thing. That mayor's going to be making an investment in public works, with a GPS system, and also more money to pave roads. And so that's the mayor's budget, and it's going through a process right now. Let me turn you over to Nicole Brown, who's going to go through with our announcements, and then we'll be hearing from our guest speaker. I'm excited about that. Hey, Nicole.
Good afternoon, everybody. So we do have a shorter group of announcements today, so I'm going to quickly share those with you so we can hear from our wonderful speaker. So let me know when you guys can see my screen.
Yeah, we can see it.
Okay. Great. So, as always, just reminding everybody about eviction prevention with Stand Up Buffalo. If you or somebody you know is at risk of eviction due to an inability to pay rent as a result of the pandemic, please call 211 to learn more and apply today. There are eligibility requirements, which you can find out more about. Alternatively, you could use standupbuffalo.com to find out about those as well. Tenants and landlords, you can sign up today for the City of Buffalo's free apartment building recycling program. You can visit buffalorecycles.gov/apartments or call the number listed on screen to find out more information on how to apply. The bulk trash schedule 2022 spring collection is underway. We are coming up on the Lovejoy district. Please put your bulk trash out on the Sunday before the collection happens all week. So you never know when it is going to be in your block. So again, Lovejoy district is the next district that is coming up. Here in the Division of Citizen Services, there are the Crime Prevention through Environmental Design or CPTED trainings. The next one happening is May 25th through May 27th. And then there are dates in both June and July. You can register for these, and to do that, you would contact Ron Dixon, the Special Project Manager for Crime Prevention for the City of Buffalo, at rdixon@buffalony.gov, and his email will be in the chat. As well as we are now accepting applications for AmeriCorps Vista, so it is a full-time one-year commitment, but there are many benefits to becoming an AmeriCorps Vista. So if you or if you know somebody who might be a great fit for this program, please refer them, or you can contact Ms. Malika D. Lee at emily@buffalony.gov, the External Affairs Manager, for more information about this program. We also have mini grant applications available now, so you are able to apply. It is the 2022 Love Your Block mini grant application process. The deadline for submission is June 1st of this year. So for more information, you can visit just the city website or email loveyourblock@citybuffalo.com, and that email will also be in the chat as well. Additionally, you can participate in the Great American Cleanup and schedule your own event between March 21st and June 22nd. You can request free cleanup supplies such as trash bags and arrange for free trash pickup by calling 311. Or you can volunteer at a cleanup event, and you will be assigned to a specific location to assist with the current cleanup that's happening. For this, you can register by calling 311, scan the QR code on screen, or email rdixon@buffalony.gov for more information. If you do want to volunteer and become part of the Good Neighbors Network, you can do that as well. We are looking for participants and people who want to be part of a community. To find out more about that, you can contact the Save Our Streets coordinator, Michael Smith, and his email is listed on screen. We will also put that into the chat box, or you can call 311 to find out more information. If you're having trouble coping, there is the Buffalo Police Department's Behavioral Health Team. So under this, the BPD-BHT works in collaboration with Endeavor Health Services, and they'll provide on-site screening, assessment, de-escalation, and diversion for people who are in need of mental health or substance use treatment services. So this, means if they're experiencing a mental health crisis and there's an imminent concern, you would call 911 to request this team. If you want to find out just more information about how this works, guidance or assistance, you can call the number listed on screen to find out more. If you are looking to start a block club or need assistance with your block club, you can contact the City of Buffalo and Erie County Board of Block Clubs. They have an email, bobcbuffalo@gmail.com, a phone, and a Facebook and an Instagram. They're very responsive on all platforms, and will definitely assist you in whatever your needs are. There is also Block Club Weekend happening May 20th through 22nd at Albright Knox Northland, and it is open to the entire community to enjoy a special Block Club weekend there. So they have different events happening Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and there's no pre-registration required. As well as May's Block Club Month, the general meeting will be happening May 26th at 6:30 in Dash's Markets in the upstairs community room, and there are guest speakers, two of them, the Deputy Mayor, Crystal Rodriguez-Dabney, and the Commissioner of the Department of Public Works. And there will be updates from both the block clubs and from our department. So we encourage everybody to attend. There's Skilled Trades and Careers for Women event happening on Wednesday, May 18th. So this is a free hands-on workshop for women who want to learn more about welding or manufacturing. There's a schedule of events, and you can sign up for this at alfredstate.edu. And as well as Northland provides many different hands-on training opportunities overall, as well as various services, including career coaching, counseling, internships, and more. If you want to find out more about what they offer, you can visit northlandwtc.org and apply or about more information. So if you are looking for something to do this summer, you can join the team of Soccer for Success and become a coach mentor. There is no prior experience needed, and paid training is included. You can apply using the QR code or visit buffalosoccerforsuccess.com to find out more information. And alternatively, if you have a child who would like to participate in this, there are 90-minute practices, weekly soccer skills and nutrition lessons. They receive equipment that is necessary to participate, and there will be professional coaches. So you can register your child on the same website at buffalosoccerforsuccess.com. There's also a free summer camp sponsored by Say Yes. There are various activities, including academic support and enrichment, as well as physical activity, and much more. So there's definitely student eligibility that does have to be met in order to enroll your child. The deadline to register is Friday, June 24th, and you can apply online at sayyesbuffalo.org, or you can obtain a paper application. Say Yes Summer Camps is also hiring teacher and support staff for this camp as well. And they prefer, experience working with certain grades, but you can check out more about this online, and you can register at sayyesbuffalo.org as well, or use the QR code on screen. I'm not sure what happened. Sorry, guys. Okay. Can you guys still see my screen? Okay. So we just have a few more. So just calling all vendors. The original Taking It to the Streets is accepting applications to join. You can contact Anita Williams. She's the president and founder of this event, or Angelita Bellamy. And this event takes place on August 20th and 21st at MLK Junior Park. And coming up to our last few slides, we just want to remind everybody that COVID is still around, and it is, making a comeback in certain places. So COVID testing is still available. If you want to find out a little bit more about the nearest COVID testing sites, or where to go to get, a vaccination or things like that, you can visit our COVID-19 buffalony.gov. And it will contain a lot of information that pertains to COVID, as well as if you are struggling with any emotional, need any emotional support or anything like that, you can use the NY Project Hope Coping with COVID, sponsored by the Buffalo Urban League. And to do that, you can call the number listed on screen, or email projecthope@buffalourbanleague.org. And they are open Monday through Saturday from 8 to 7, and it is free, anonymous, and confidential. So lastly, we just want to remind everybody that Clean Sweep season 2022 is underway. So you may see us in your neighborhood. We had a wonderful start to the season. I don't know if Director Mestre wants to chime in really quick and talk a little bit about our season and how it's going so far, or the Save Our Streets coordinator.
I'll let the Save Our Streets coordinator just say just a few, and then I'd like to have Malika just talk a little bit about the Love Your Block grants, and then we're going to have our speaker.
Okay, I happily. So as Nicole mentioned, my name is Michael Smith. I'm the Save Our Streets program coordinator. It's been my honor to coordinate the Clean Sweep program this year. Last week, we had a great Clean Sweep in the University District. Our education and outreach team, they left resources and at over 120 residential properties, making sure, as always, to stop and engage with pedestrians and passing vehicles, just making sure that they have what they need. Our beautification and outreach teams got over 3 tons of debris out of the area, making sure to clean up. We saw them filling some potholes, especially on Dunlap. Just a really great initiative, and just really great partners. Next week, we're heading into the North District. We're going to take care of Briggs Avenue, Royale Avenue, and Riverside Avenue. About 160 residential properties, so a little bit more than normal, but as I know our teams are able to handle it and they do an amazing job every week. We're going to be accompanied by the dedicated officers of Police District D. We're going to have Councilman Columbik is going to make sure his staff is out there with us as well. And we're just going to keep this season going strong. And with that, I'll pass it to my esteemed colleague, Malika Lee.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Malika Lee. The Love Your Block mini grant program, as the director has mentioned, is up and running now. So we are focusing on a few specific areas, but everyone is eligible to apply. So those priority areas that we have is Broadway Fillmore, Schiller Park, Maston Park, also Upper West Side, Lower West Side, and Ken Bailey. So if you know anybody who is a block club that's in those areas, we strongly encourage those folks to apply, but everyone is eligible to apply. It's up to $1,500 in beautification projects that you can apply for. So if you know anyone, or if you yourself is interested and you're a member of a block club, you can definitely apply. You can email loveyourblock@buffalo-city.com, and then you can also CC me on there for visibility so that I can be sure that I see everything that's coming in. And my email is mlee@buffalony.gov, and it is in the chat. Both of those emails for Love Your Block and myself are in the chat. And just in the interest of time, I'll cut it short. But if you have any questions or anything like that, you can definitely email me. If you want to go over the application, you can email me too. We can do virtuals or in-persons to help you fill out that application as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Malika.
Okay, and just lastly, just letting everybody know, if you do not follow us on Facebook, please follow us. The link will be dropped in the chat, as well as you can look us up at Buffalo Citizen Services. Follow our 311 call and response center page at Buffalo 311. And if you do not follow the mayor, please follow him on Facebook and Instagram as well at Mayor Byron Brown and Mayor Byron Brown 716. And Oz, you are able to introduce our wonderful speaker now.
Well, thank you very much, Nicole. A lot of great information that's happening throughout the city of Buffalo. Excited. It's springtime. We want people to take advantage of the fullness that is Buffalo. So again, make sure we heed to those messages. Let me take the opportunity to introduce our speaker. We often take interactions that we have with each other sometimes for granted. And so sometimes how we interact can foretell the relationships that will occur. And so I'm excited because this particular speaker has been working with various organizations and our own Buffalo Police to help understand what those interactions. And I think if we know anything that's happened within the past couple of years, that we've been hearing people in the community, we've been striving and understanding and making sure that the interaction that law enforcement has with community is a positive reaction, but it's a learned interaction. What do I mean when I say learned? Meaning that it's two ways. It's not one way. It's not so much that the law enforcement needs to understand what's going on in the community, but community and vice versa. And so besides doing that, besides understanding much more about what's going on in terms of the arts and those things, I'm proud to introduce our speaker for today. She is the Director of Arts. And you know what? I'm going to let her tell her title, but the word director is in there. And so let me introduce Thembi, Duncan.
Thank you so much, Oswaldo. Hi, everybody. I'm Thembi Duncan. I'm the Director of Arts Engagement and Education at Sheas Performing Arts Center. And don't worry, it took me about a year to be able to let that roll off my tongue. So essentially, I oversee all of our programs that aren't live performances, to simplify, but I'm going to start a slide deck to just jump right in, give you a sense of all that we do, and then zero in on a particular project. All right. Can everybody see my screen? Awesome. Thank you. So I would say, so now I've switched to another screen, so please, I hope that you aren't thrown off that I'll be turned a little bit to the side, but I'm still here. I'm still with you. So, our arts engagement education at Sheas Performing Arts Center, just a little bit of background on me. My pronouns are she, her, and I have a background as an actor. That's me over there in the upper left, acting like I work at a slaughterhouse, and that's us like cutting up meat. There's me as a teaching artist there with the young people, and then actors in a production that I directed. So I have a full holistic sort of relationship with theater. There's me to the right as an arts administrator at Sheas on the stairs there. And I came here about 4 years ago for this position and had no prior history in Buffalo. So it's been really a joy to get to know everybody and build the relationships that I've been building over the last 4 years. Did not expect a global pandemic, but who did, right? We've just been working through that and working around it. And I wanted to share with you our working mission. This is ever shifting and ever growing and developing, but what you see here is where we stand at the moment, which is to work closely with community stakeholders to provide people in Western New York with an enhancement of their quality of life through the arts. Our goal is to use the arts as a tool for engagement, for connection, for mastery of the art forms themselves, as well as for community connection. So the programs that we administer both here on site and off site include these 6 categories that a lot of different programs fall under. So you've got community engagement, team building, residencies with teaching artists, and in-school residencies, so community residencies and in-school residencies, as well as passports to performance and arts education. So I'll dig a little bit more into those for you. So community engagement includes us out at parades, tabling, walking, being present in the community, not necessarily engaging in a specific program, but being out as neighbors, as participants, as community members. And then there's also the relationships that we have where we might be at, say, Saturday academies, we may be doing things at events that are already happening, and that's arts events and community events, and being present and participating. We participate in local and national conferences. We do a lot of speaking on the work that we do, as well as just arts integration, arts education, ways that the arts connect to the rest of our lives, right? So I am a practitioner and I do have that background, and most of the people on my team have a background as a practitioner, but we use those backgrounds to inform the community work that we do, because we truly believe that the arts is the key to community engagement, is the key to a better world, it's the key to better people. And lots of research over the past 25 years demonstrates that when people are involved in the arts and they have, even if it's not as a career, but you've been exposed to the arts as a young person in school, you've been exposed to the arts in your community, that you are more likely to be successful in life. So we operate under that mentality. So that's our community engagement piece. And we also do team building and professional development. This is more of a fee-for-service approach. And as you can see here in this picture, people are doing a circular exercise where there's a teaching artist over there in the background in the purple dress who's leading 2 sets of people. There are people on the other side of the curtain that you don't see through an exercise. And they just happen to be on the stage of Sheas Buffalo. Now, Sheas Buffalo stage is not always available, but when it is, there are organizations and businesses that will make arrangements to book maybe a full day or 2 or 3 days of a company retreat at Sheas. This is one of the things that we sometimes will offer if they're interested to do some team building exercises, all of that based on theater and what we tend to learn in theater school. We use those skills to rework workshops for folks in terms of team building and professional development. So we also work with BOCES around the region. In BOCES, the Erie 1 BOCES, we've worked with Cattaraugus, Allegheny BOCES recently, and we're looking to expand those relationships with educators and administrators in BOCES so that we can make those connections as well. Because one of the things that we've discovered over the past several years in this field is that a lot of times teachers will be tasked with teaching theater or teaching the arts, and they have no arts background as a professional practitioner. So we connect our professional practitioners as teaching artists with those people to give them guidance. We don't want educators to reinvent the wheel. We don't want educators to be flying blind. We want to provide you with what we already know and understand so that you can be successful and integrate the arts into your teaching practice. So that's really important to us. We do all kinds of professional development offsite as well. We will go to organizations and companies to do professional development. And we also do professional development with law enforcement, which is what Oswaldo spoke to earlier. I will get to that a little bit later in the presentation. We do teaching artist residencies in the community. So right there, you see us at Johnny B. Wiley Center with a group of kids in the Omega Mentoring Program. Right now, they're playing a game called Ships and Sailors, and the teaching artist Alejandro Gomez is here in the foreground, giving them instructions. And it's kind of like a Simon Says game, if you will, and they're following his instructions. And this is a team building exercise that they always love to play first before we dig into monologues and sort of theater exercises. So we have arts education, what a lot of people would associate with an education department and a theater, where we have classes and we have the Kenny Awards, which is our high school musical theater awards program, as well as our junior theater celebration. And right here, you see Westminster Charter School. They are this particular production, Aladdin, that they did a couple of years ago. They are doing a number from that. And usually what you'll see in our junior theater celebration, which we actually have coming up this year, we're so excited to be back in person on June 3rd and 4th. And this is for middle school level theater program. So if a middle school or an out of school time middle school program has produced a musical, we invite them for free to the junior theater celebration every June, and they get to perform a number from their musical, and then they get feedback from the team of iTheatrics. And this is the team that boils down Broadway plays into kid and junior versions for schools to produce. So they literally know their stuff. They know all the text, they know the music, and they give them feedback, and then they might ask for an adjustment. The kids will do it again. You'll see their students there clapping for them from another school. So they get to meet kids from 10, 12, 15 other schools in the region, see what plays they're doing, what numbers they're doing, get big ideas, and then they will take workshops in singing and dancing and acting with those other schools. So they get a lot of great opportunities, and the educators are responsible for transportation. We are hoping that in the future we can contribute to transportation, but at the moment, educators and directors are responsible for getting the school groups and community groups there. So, but that's one of our favorite programs, the Junior Theater Celebration. We also have coaching. We do one-to-one coaching in person and on Zoom, depending on how high the COVID numbers are, with our staff teaching artists, Victoria Perez and Alejandro Gomez, who you saw in the other photograph. I'm also a teaching artist. Katie Mountain on our team is a teaching artist. Pretty much everybody on our team does teaching artist work, which gives us that flexibility and that liquidity to kind of just flow around based on whose expertise is stronger in what areas. But then we also hire additional teaching artists. That comes into play when we do our winter, spring, and summer arts education programs. So we have a winter break and a spring break camp that we just launched this year that were very successful. That's where we'll bring in artists like Naila Ansari, who's an excellent dance scholar and performer, who led our spring break camp, which was movement-based. And then we had a voice-based spring camp. And then in our summer camps, we have a culminating performance on the stage of Sheas Buffalo that's preceded by 2 weeks of arts instruction broken down in troops with kids aged 10 to 17. It's pretty exciting. We also do educational tours. We have an online monologue library on our website, lots of resources for the art form of theater and other areas of arts. So in terms of in-school residencies, we have not done them recently. We're down to just a few just because of COVID and schools not allowing guests in there. But what we have done is we will have a teaching artist embedded in a school for it could be a short time, it could be 4 straight days, it could be 4 weeks every Monday, whatever it is that the school needs. We work with educators and administrators to ask questions about their objectives and look at where can we connect and use the arts as a tool to help them achieve their objectives with the students, whatever learning outcomes they're looking for, whatever interventions they're looking for. We pretty much put the arts on top of it, and it's magic. It just becomes great. So let's see. So moving on to today's highlight, that's me, as you can see, working with police officers in various stages of amusement based on our activity. I'd like to talk about body language for law enforcement. That is something that I'm really proud of. And it's something that we've been developing over, I want to say at this point, it's been about 3 years, where we will train cadets at Buffalo Police Department right before they get out into the community in theater-based body language. Okay, so this is something that we created based on what actors learn in theater school. And we connect that to not super high stakes encounters, but the average typical encounter that officers will have when they're out in the community. And we use that as a tool to get them to get outside of the typical thinking that they have and to I'll share the objectives in a minute. But I'll say, so the process, that first session with them, and this is again before they get out in the community, we do introductions and objectives. We always want to talk about, okay, this is what we want to do. This is what we're after. And I'll say, these are my objectives based on my conversation with Captain so-and-so. I want you to think about your own objectives for this workshop. What do you want out of it? And then they do an individual writing exercise where I have them take a moment. It's either going to be 5 minutes to 8 minutes. And they're going to answer a bunch of questions that I use as prompts, but also give them the space of like, if there's something else you want to write, or if there's a question you don't want to answer, that's fine too. So then they get together. I'll give them, a couple of them, an opportunity to share if they want to, and then they'll get together and they will partner up and do interviews with each other. And then they'll introduce each other after they're done with that. So that's always a great opportunity, not only for me to assess where they are and how to move forward in that particular workshop, but for them to get to know each other as a cadet class and bond. Because once they go out to all their precincts, they don't see each other as much. So it would have to be their effort. So this is actually a great opportunity for them to bond as a graduating cadet class. So we talk about the elements of dramatic tension in theater, which is what we learn in theater school. I have a theater degree, and that's sort of the focus when you imagine like theater people in classes doing all those like theatery things where we're all like moving around and spending hours doing mirroring exercises and things like that. That's, I transfer that over to real life. So I talk about elements of real life tension. We get on our feet and do exercises because the research reflects that the body remembers. And when I've come back 1 year, 2 years later for folks that I've trained a couple of years ago, and before we get into it, I ask them, well, what do you remember about the workshops and the training? And more often than not, they'll say, oh, I remember the mirroring. I remember the physical things that we did. They often don't remember what we talked about. They'll just be like, oh yeah, I remember we talked about body language. So we know that because this is the work that we do. So we always want to keep them on their feet. And then of course we do closing and reflections because you don't learn if you don't reflect. So we must have that in the process, right? And so there's me, as you can see, I'm talking about the objectives, and the objectives change depending on, over time. The cadets have kind of changed a little bit. There's a way more open-mindedness about cadets. Even in the past couple of years, they're much more social justice aware, much less rigid in their thinking. And so we adjust accordingly. Every workshop has that similar structure, but we continue to evolve. And I evolve in partnership with the captain that I work with, Captain Tommy Champion, at this point. And it was Stephen Nichols before that. All of this was sanctioned by the previous police commissioner, Byron Lockwood, who has retired recently, but will continue to move on with this program. So grateful to him for supporting that program. So as you can see, I'm here talking about the objectives, and officers are doing the individual writing exercise in the middle picture. And then you see to the right, officers are interviewing each other and getting ready for a presentation that they will share with the group. So then you see there where we're on our feet, and I'm talking to them. You see a mirroring exercise with officers, and then us just getting into some brief scenarios there. So that's always fun. As you can see, they're laughing and enjoying themselves. And I always think it's important for people to see officers in that state as people, because I think a lot of times we see them as badges and guns and, a glommed up identity as opposed to their individual identities. So that's why it's always important to do that writing exercise, because I ask them in that writing exercise, why did you become a police officer? What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? And some of the things that they say are just really really exceptional in terms of the importance of service to the community. It aligns with what a lot of us want to do in the community. But unfortunately, due to the sort of the way things go, it's not like they can come out and speak out as individuals around things that happen. So, you know, in a lot of ways, you get characterizations that may not be reasonable to apply to everybody. That said, big caveat, right? I mean, obviously, comes with a grain of salt, and everybody has their ideas, right, about law enforcement in the community. But to me, my goal is to bridge the gap between law enforcement and the community, and allow us to see each other as people. So the journey with this program since 2008, you'll see there, we started body language with professionals and other folks that you see listed here, and then evolved into the law enforcement piece. We still do it with other groups, but when I talked to the commissioner, the former commissioner, about that work, he said, well, I want to do that. So he actually initiated that particular work with the officers. I had something else in mind, and he was like, no, I don't want that. So I said, okay, and built this particular workshop for them. So we've had a lot of press coverage, which has been great, and received an award for it in 2021, which was really exciting. And we're just grateful for the ability to do this. And like I said, it's a true partnership. So I continue to work with the department in terms of getting feedback and continuing to build. It's not just me coming up with it and doing it myself. In addition to that, we have, well, let me see, hold on. Okay. So before I get to that part, I will say just yesterday, we were working with the first cadet class that we have seen twice. We usually never see the cadet class twice. We see them once, they go out, and we don't see them again until I get to go back and interview them. But we actually got to do training with the cadet class that we just worked with. And so we shifted to the next level, which we just created, which was a role play scenario, and it went very well. So the next time you see me and hear me talking about this, hopefully I will be able to talk about that part as well, and how we've been able to use the role play as a really essential tool. And we think that role play piece is going to be a great piece to use with many members of the community. So stay tuned for that. That is in development, very nascent. So just really quickly, I'm going to go through some of the slides from the slide deck I used for the officers. So you remember you saw the slide deck in my background when I was talking to them. These are objectives that I might have for a particular session. And then I'm going to show them, okay, elements of dramatic tension. I talk about these things, protagonist, antagonist, relationship, etc. Those are things that we learn in theater school, and we use those as actors specifically in scenes. This is how, when you see theater, or even if you see television or film, you don't know how to put your finger on it, but these actors are just doing this incredible job of staying in the moment and connecting and keeping you excited and involved. That's what we learn in order to do that. And we become very skilled at that to give you a sense of natural, like it's so natural. It seems so connected. Well, we apply that to real life. And so then I will talk about protagonist and antagonist, and I'll talk about how a lot of times in specifically in American cinema and television, we tend to say, okay, there's a good guy and there's a bad guy. And we tend to want to get the viewers buy-in and follow on the good guy for the good guy to win. Well, the way I teach theater, when I teach it, is that everyone is the protagonist of their own story and their own scene. So it's not that, oh, there's a bad guy and there's a clear good guy. We're all the protagonists. We're all the good guy in our mind. We just sometimes make choices where we feel like, well, it's worth doing this because the greater good is better. So when you do that, you allow people to have empathy for other folks that they're having an encounter with. It's not easy, but it's important and it's essential. I talk about relationship and what that means. I talk about objective and how in any scene or any situation, you are after something. There is something you want, and you are going to get it. I also talk about the given circumstances, what's around you, where do you live, what just happened, what's about to happen, what's right in front of you. We talk about obstacles. What do you have that's in your way from what you want, and I do it in an inquiry based way. So I'll pull these slides up and I'll ask questions about, okay, for instance, in this picture, what do they want? What's their objective? And okay, well, what kinds of obstacles come in their way? So I'm depending on people's familiarity with the story, but I also recognize that if I show a variety of images from a variety of stories and a variety of media, then you have a variety of people who have the cultural leg up with, oh, I know what that is, whereas others may not. So it's a way of balancing the room to say, hey, you may not be familiar with the image you're looking at, but somebody in the room is, so you can look to them as an expert in that area. So it's also under that surface is about cultural competency, right? What kinds of tactics do you use to get after what you want? What's the resolution you're looking for and how do you get to it? So all of those things are applicable in real life. So when I say, okay, elements of real life tension, I use a nice, easy approach. There's a baby, there's grandma, there's a cookie, right? And then we look at it from both sides using those same elements. And then I talk about, okay, real life in law enforcement, we talk about that. So now we start getting into body language. So we've got these ideas in place and I can ask questions, and then we can really dig into, okay, how are these pieces playing into a quote unquote scene or a moment with you out in the community in an interaction. And so we go into body language tactics, right? And then I go into a little bit of research and just how actually this gentleman here went back on prior research. You know, we get a little bit into that part because I want to make sure people know that there's research behind what we're talking about. And then we play around in person, like on our feet. And then that's that. So that's one piece of one program with one group that we do. But we do these kinds of things with all kinds of groups. And as you can see, everything we do is based in research, in scholarship, in our experience and things that we do. But I'm gonna stop sharing. I know I went through that really fast, but I wanted to make sure that I could give you a quick overview. But what's important to know is that for us, it's all about the arts as a connector, the arts as a way of making sense of the world and expressing yourself and interacting with the world. And so with that, I would love to open things up for questions about all of the things that we do or about our spotlight today, the law enforcement training.
Thembi, wow, great presentation. I mean, a lot of good stuff that was in there. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I can't see if there's any questions, but I do have a suggestion and maybe even a question. I'm excited about what you're doing with law enforcement, but also taking it to another level and interacting with community and that. I'm going to offer up the Board of Block Clubs. So there are great resources of individuals who interact. And so maybe, and I'll let Debbie, I think she has that question. She was like, oh, hello, don't forget about me. You know, so Debbie, did you have anything?
Yeah, no, wow, awesome. I'm in awe of everything that you do. Great work, and especially on the law enforcement piece. So yeah, maybe we can do something with the Board of Block Clubs and put that connector together. And I like some of the things that you talked about, the mirror stuff, the stand up. Those are all really great ways, and I like doing that kind of stuff. So yeah, let's definitely talk about it, email, call each other, however you want to do it. Everybody on this page knows how to get me. And I can put my email in the chat for you as well. And let's see what we can do. Let's see if we can, you know, what do they say? Build the bridges even farther and longer and bring everybody together. So I would love to do that. So let me, you know, send you my information and we'll figure something out. See how we can work it out.
That sounds great. Thank you for that.
Oh, no, thank you.
Yeah, I mean, I see. It looks like Ron Dixon is also asking,
Yep.
do we work with community organizations to help with professional development? I would love to, because that's interesting. I would love to hear a little bit more about that question before I answer it. I just want to make sure I understand what you're asking. When you say, do we work with community organizations? Do you mean to help us execute professional development or work with community organizations to do these kinds of workshops? I just want to make sure I understand.
No, so I apologize if you guys hear any background noise. We have some work going on to the bathroom, so if you hear some loud banging, that's what you'll hear. But so no, you're all right. So the question, it was in regards to just like, let's say an organization is servicing a youth or servicing a community, and they were looking for some type of professional development or leadership development. Is that something that you all would be able to facilitate and work with that organization to do?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. I can drop my contact information in the chat. I know there'll be some closing remarks, so when those start happening, I can start dropping that in the chat so you can reach me. That yes, we are very responsive. We kind of, if you think of it like this, my department works as like a little mini organization inside of Sheas. So we have a little bit more grassroots capability to kind of be responsive. You know what I mean? We don't have that whole like having to go through a bunch of checks and balances thing. So it actually is, you can reach out to me and I can be like, do you want me to come through on Wednesday? We're free that day, we're there, which I'm really proud of and excited about. So yes, absolutely.
I appreciate that. And then the second question, it's going to be in regard. So being that I do a lot of work in the crime prevention space, would it be something, I know we've seen each other in passing at the Supervisor Academy when during the supervisor training, I did a piece on community crime prevention over through environmental design, did a little piece there. So just seeing moving forward, if that's something that you want to collab on as we are invited into a lot of these different spaces, would that be something that you would want to work together on?
Very much so. One of our goals for the next few years is to expand our relationships with law enforcement institutions, agencies throughout Western New York. So that's right in alignment with our goal. So absolutely, I would love that.
Okay. I'll just follow up via email with you once you put your information in the chat.
That's perfect. Thank you. Yeah, and anybody else who's sort of got on their mind, they're like, there's some kind of something in the back of your mind. Feel free to just shoot me a note and say, I don't know if this is a full thought, but there's something that just popped up and I want to talk about it because I'm very responsive and it's all about, for me, partnership is about working together to find our way to what you want. We don't do transactional partnerships for the purposes of photo ops. So. Yay.
So great. Listen, Thembi, thank you very much for presenting great information. Again, I just want to say thank you very much for taking time out. We'll make sure that we'll be in contact with you and following back up with you. Let me introduce and bring Debbie to close us out. Debbie is the president of the Board of Block Clubs, excited about the work that is being done. Listen, this is an exciting month coming up, and you're going to be very busy. Debbie, what's going on in your world?
Oh, well, craziness as always, but in our world of the Board of Block Clubs, coming up on starting on May 20th, as you saw on the flyer, that's a really big event for the Board of Block Clubs. Thank you to Dr. Cortasia Solomon Carter, who's working with the Albright Knox. This is going to be a great weekend where it's family oriented. The artwork is amazing. They're going to have things for the kids to do. It is free. If you'd like to make a small donation, that would be great because it does help the arts. And we're just so excited that they wanted to work with us and be out in the community a little bit more, and they can do that with the Board of Block Clubs. So we're really excited about that. Our team, our board will be there every day. You'll see a couple of our members there. So, stop over and say hello to us and introduce yourselves so that we can get to know you a little better. So that's May 20, 21, and 22 during the daytime. It's in the chat and it's also on our flyer. Please look at our Facebook page because we do, and I can't say this enough, our social media director, Dr. Cortasia, does a phenomenal job of sharing everybody's information. Any program that's going on, anything that's happening here in the city of Buffalo, we share it, and we have a really big following. So if there's something you want to know, go to the Board of Block Club Facebook page. You will find it. It's right there. Can't miss it. It's in the chat. It's all over the place. Also, this month, because it is Board of Block Club month, our meeting will be at Dash's Market on May 26th at 6:30. And we have the great pleasure of having our new Deputy Mayor, Crystal Rodriguez-Dabney there, as well as our Commissioner of DPW. So I'm very honored that they're both going to be there that evening. So stop up, come and say hello to us. We'll have some refreshments and you'll get to meet members of the board if you haven't already. Of course, as always, Oswaldo and his team will be there. We have a great relationship with Division of Citizen Services. So we're really excited about that. And we're just moving forward. So many wonderful things will be happening soon. So every month, every Friday, we'll just keep sharing all the new stuff that's happening. And thank you for bringing Love Your Block back. Everybody's been asking. Whoop, whoop. We're excited. So with that, that's really it for us at the moment. We are getting things rolling, and we're always looking to meet new people. I will be at the Manston District meeting on Saturday. So if you're going to be there, I'll be there. So please, if I don't know who you are, come up and say hello. And that's really it. That's it for me today. It's 12:54. I'm getting good. You're muted.
I was gonna say, great, Debbie. I was like, you're not honored to have me at your meeting. No, you are.
Of course I am.
I'm
I did
honored to
say
be.
that.
I'm honored to be at your meeting. Listen, great block chat. I want everyone to enjoy their weekend. We're going to give you 5 minutes back of your day. We'll see you at our next block chat. I want to say thank you to each and every one of you. Thank you to our speaker. Listen, let's live Buffalo. Let's live Buffalo. And we'll talk to you a little bit later. Take care, guys.
Bye, everybody. Have a great day. Enjoy the sunshine.
Have a good weekend, everybody.
You too. See you Wednesday.
Yep.